Sorry, I'm Nikki Ansell, I'm on the governance to the South Waitangi District Council, and it is my great pleasure to introduce you tonight to Warwick Lynn, who's our electoral officer in the South Waitangi District Council. He is working with us these elections to make sure that we kind of go running and have what we need, but he's also our point of contact for any questions. So it's great to have you here tonight. Thank you for travelling down and being here, just running through the candidate briefing with us. We really appreciate it, Warwick.
Sure. Thanks, Nikki. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming along. I've got a PowerPoint presentation to go through. I love PowerPoint. I've about 50 slides, about an hour. I'll read every word on every slide slowly. Not. So it won't be death by PowerPoint. Normally, I like to keep these things pretty casual. Sometimes I would stand here and present, but given we're all around the table here tonight, you're okay, I'll just sit here and we'll just run through it. Yeah. Can you hear me okay down the back there? All good? Thanks for it. You hear me on the live screen okay? Okay, thanks, Louise. All right. Shoot through the slides. It's all about you going away having all of your questions answered about the council elections and election land that you might want to know. Just as we go, please just sing out with any questions at any time. So have it taken as it go. See how it rolls. Next slide, thanks. Yeah, okay. So as Nikki said, my name's Warwick. Council's external electoral officer. Lots and lots of councils. He is the deputy electoral officer. Put down the legislation. He will be the point local for putting in nominations and asking the first line of questions. These are all the councils that I work with. Which is 47 and 67. I live in Tauranga, born and bred in Martin. Spent a bit of time in this part of the country, so I know this neck of the woods pretty well. Our office is based in Christchurch. I'm an earthquake refugee, and I've been doing elections since 1986. Done about 900 council elections, by-elections over that time. I've probably done this presentation about 300 times. So yeah, that's pretty much it. All our voting papers for those councils go to our centralised processing centre at our premises in Christchurch. Voting group. 47 councils and 8 were regional councils. Thanks, Shannon. So who else is involved in the council elections? Not much, really. The Electoral Commission does provide us with the electoral roll, but that's it. The Electoral Commission who run the parliamentary elections, they have no say over our council elections. Same with the Ombudsman. The Ombudsman has no legal authority over the electoral officer or council elections. And an external council, private company, not related to the government. But I do answer to a district court judge. Any day if I do something wrong and complains about me, place to go as a district court judge. But I always like government about. Next one. We know this, but council is a pretty complex business. Lots of pieces of legislation, lots of moving parts. These are the things that council does. Richard, thank you. Do you know how many full-time employees?
72, 76. Yeah.
Now your annual turnover is rates and capex? I was putting you on the spot here.
were.
Well, rates is about 30 mil, 31 mil, and then probably another 10 mil average
Somewhat
above that.
50 millish.
Grants, well, just shy of that, probably close to 40.
Sure, okay, there you go. Relatively big in the grand scheme of things, plenty of things going on. Shannon? Oh, sorry, yes, and as a result, standing for council is a big deal. It's not a 5-minute job, not to be taken lightly. Big responsibility. A little bit about the time frame involved in the story. Just go back one, please. Time and hours that might be involved, but positive thing to do. To be the eyes and ears of the district and set the strategy. Have a say as to how things go forward, but I would be doing my job if I said, as you've seen on the next slide, that it is not always a bed of roses. These days, candidate safety, victim member safety is a big deal. Know about this? Social media land get pretty nasty. So be prepared for that. It's not always a bed of roses. People might have a crack at you. When you go into campaign meetings or events, be mindful of the exit zone. The escalation points could be things that you could do to keep yourself safe if you had to. Maybe for your campaigning, perhaps use campaigning email address that's not your normal personal email address, or a mobile number that's not normal mobile. Just to keep things separate. Don't have to, but putting it out there, there's been stories of people turning up at the mayor's front door around the country, causing problems. That does happen. Hopefully it doesn't here, but be aware of those things. Remember, if your public safety is in strife, then you can always go to the police. So here, job description, key things that elected member does. Set out in the canned handbook. Got the handbook there in front of you. It's good section. Talks about all the stuff, so please take the time to read the handbook. And handbook will go into more detail about the things that I'm covering off tonight. Remember that elected members only employ one person, that council CE. CE is then responsible for 70-80 odd staff. Shannon? Some key skills that are handy. You do have to relate to a wide range of people. Pretty good at listening. Pretty good at speed reading. Some large agendas. Pages. So you know, we read them. Not thinking quickly. Good skill to have. You got to think district wide, no matter which ward it will patch you're from. There's a little member to think about the big picture district. Public speaking skills handy, but not essential. You sit around the table for a few months, you'll soon pick up public speaking skills as a result. Pretty straightforward. Thanks. So yeah, timeframes. Council meetings once a month. Plenty of other meetings, roughly 60 meetings each, 1 week. Ebbs and flows a bit. Sometimes it might be 40 hours a week, sometimes it might be 20 hours a week. Generally, the mayor, pretty much full-time job. Councillors, 2 to 3 days. Lots of reading of reports. Flexible working hours, evenings, events in the evenings, those sorts of things. Everybody gets,
Sorry, just a question there.
Yeah.
Probably not you, but Aidan, is the council meetings for South Wairarapa, is that the generally the time frame?
Wednesdays. Yeah, Wednesdays, generally, it's a scheduled meeting day. We generally, yep,
Every 4 weeks.
yep.
Council can decide what it wants to do about days,
Yep.
nights.
Yeah, whether it's council meetings or workshops, they're Wednesdays and generally kicking off at 9 AM, 10 AM.
but you're right, once a new council's in, then they decide how they deal with that. Everybody gets a little update, that's all.
No, there's an item allowance that we currently get for elected members. So it's their own devices.
But all agendas electronic.
Yes, they are. We do print them if you can request it, but obviously that's, you know, got a 210 pack that's the trees, so but they are electronic, yes.
Encouraging electronic documents.
Yeah.
There's the remuneration. Remember that elected members not council employees, so self-employed, got to look after your own tax, ACC, GST, all that. And there are some allowances there for vehicle, childcare, and Nicky said IT that help along the way. Set by the Realm Authority and will change after the election. Okay, a few other things about the election details. So my job as election officer is to carry out the election in accordance with the legislation, local election act, local electoral regulations, prescriptive, quite a large piece of legislation. It's all about keeping a level playing field for everyone. But what I don't do is get involved in the campaigning space. Not into the politics of the world, so I don't worry about what candidates might say or do about each other. I have a relatively large sphere of caring, but what someone might say about you online is outside my sphere of caring. Someone does that and you complain to me, I'm just going to say, so what? This slide's key slide, the dates. Make sure you're up to speed with these key dates coming in. Today, Canterbury nominations open next Friday. Close 12 noon Friday, 1 August to 12:01. About that in a minute. And then it's signed, you're up 8 weeks prior, so 16th of August. Then voting opens 9 September. Voting period this time is 10 days longer than what it was past, so that the postal system can do its thing. So the voting papers will be out there for pretty much a month. It's midday, Saturday, 11th of October.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Who sends those out? Who sends the ballots out? The council itself, or do you do it? Or
We did it.
you do that?
It's all done by one company, which is Date and Cut, New Zealand Post. We've got all the voting papers for all the councils across the country. We organise that for the councils that we look over. Shannon. And the nomination process. Here's what you've got. You want Nick of the Woods, you guys know all this. Of course, this time round. Up to the right there are the number of electors on the roll as at last week. I'll change slightly once the final roll is done. It's pretty much where they're at. But the community board's there as well, and Trust Lands Trust, and of course, GW being STV. And you remember that the order of candidates' names, all those elections are in random order. Printed on the fly So that means your voting papers in your household, you and your partner's voting papers will be different. Order will be different.
Just to clarify that, so the candidates are listed randomly and it just goes out to the way, so, yep, okay.
Everyone's completely different. And what a council resolution to do that, council decision. 75% of the councils in the country are random. We state how for will suit everything. And as well, this time around, a Māori ward poll. Well, in your case, 2 Māori ward polls, one for the council, one for the regional council. Provided by the legislation. Council didn't have a choice in it. That's what it is. That is the wording that will appear on the voting paper. Firstly, for the council. So you'll have your mayor, your ward, community board, then the Māori ward poll, then GW's election, and then GW's Māori ward poll. I vote to keep. I vote to remove the Māori ward. I vote to keep Māori constituency. 37 councillors across the country are having these. So deal. Questions about that?
So for that question, when's the implementation
Yeah,
date?
question.
This election or from the next election?
Next election. So it's for the 6 years, 2028 to 2034, 2025 to 2028. Already electing a Māori ward councillor, that person will be in place for those 3 years, irrespective of the outcome of the poll. Polls yes, continue to no. Stop. Okay. Question. Thanks, Shannon. Said before, nominations close 12 noon today, not 12:01. If you're bringing it in your little hand, you and Secretary saying this, please do not leave lodging your nomination till the last minute. Because if you do, bring it into Nikki at 11:45, there's something wrong with it. You haven't got time to get it fixed. Not a candidate. It's happened to many people. Things in my profile once. That have done lots of campaigning beforehand, turned up 10 to 12, nominator's not on the roll. Too late to fix it. Please take the time to check those details. Preferably get it in early. Having said that, if you do come in at the last minute, last second, you've got to be inside the door of the council building at 11:59, 59 and 1. Nikki will be there listening to the tips on the national program. Bang on the dot, there in the door, but in your hot little hand, all good. You can process it, assuming nothing's wrong with it. But if you're outside the door, good. You're doing them here?
Yeah.
Here.
And just to let you know that we will be based here in the library, so just go through to the library
From when?
from the 4th of July. So the election team will be from 4th July through to 1 August.
Council building's out of action until.
Yeah, council meeting is of action.
And just what are the library hours?
The library hours are actually, the elections team will be there 9:30 to 4:30 and the library hours are actually 9 to 5.
Same if you are sending your nomination documents in by email, and roughly 80% of our candidates do that. Keen on that? Email them to Nikki. Details,
Elections email address.
Nikki's email address, details are on nomination paper. Remember, when you send it by email, it's not the time that you send it that matters, it's the time that we receive it. Don't do what someone did in Tauranga last year and emailed at 11:58, thinking they were all sweet. They weren't, because cybersecurity, council's email service turned up council's inbox at 12:01. Too late. Not the time you send it, the time it's received. We all know sending an email doesn't always get there straight away. take that time into account, send it within plenty of time, if you are doing it by email at the last minute. Yeah,
Warwick, are you going to talk about, who can nominate? Okay. It was just an issue here in South Warwick, the last training.
cover that in a second. Okay, so yes, keen on it electronically, got to have evidence of New Zealand citizenship and evidence of the $200 deposit. So preferably the transaction receipt that comes out of the banking system. You can take a screenshot of it or get the PDF of the transaction, attach that with your profile and your photo, send it in by email. Okay, no problems. Provide evidence, all good. Can use commonly used name on the voting paper. It doesn't have to be the name, your legal name. If you Edward, Ted, Martin, Marty, a guy in Ruape who stood council for many years, his name is known as Rabbit. He's Rabbit on the voting paper. Everyone knows him by it. So, no problem. You can do that. Just no titles, no doctor, professor, all that, no NZ, those things on the voting paper. Yes, profile statement if you want on the voting paper. And also have party affiliation, which is like a tagline or a slogan, be pretty much anything you like. Independent, truly independent, nothing, always independent. You can come up with it, whatever you want, rights control, on there the other day. More democracy, less bureaucracy. Just pretty much anything you like, as long as it's max 38 characters, including the spaces. We check this to the nth degree. So you do have to state on the nomination paper if you're standing in any other elections. Yes, you can. You can stand for the mayor, you can stand for the ward, you can stand for the community board. $200 every time. You can stand for the mayoralty of Masterton. If you want to. Live in Wellington, stand for as many councils as you like. But a guy last council election stood for the mayoralty 6 councils at the top of the South Island. $200 every time. State on each one what I'm standing for these other councils. It gets shown at the top, the profile statement. I'll show you what that looks like. Also got to state if you live in the area or not. So you don't have to live in the ward you're standing. District. You just have to say you live in it or not. Once again, not part of 150 years. I'm also the election officer for GW. So if you are standing for GW, same rules apply, same deal. The nominations just have to go to their office in Wellington. Here is the nomination paper. Next one has the details. Next one has the details at the back there where the nomination to go to elections at, and then the details of the bank account need to pay your deposit to. Remember, you've got to pay your deposit by 12 now on the Friday. You do it on the Friday morning. That's when we just want that transaction set in, so that Nikki can double check that it has actually turned up. Might not for a few hours later with the banking system, but if you can show us, pay them. No worries.
It's a quick question, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just going back to your, how many you can stand for.
Yeah.
Does that mean you could stand for Featherston, Greytown and Martin Borough Council?
You can only stand for one board. One community board.
Yep.
But you can stand for the mayor, but
Your question will be, you don't have to be resident in that.
No, you don't know that.
$100
Every time.
So these days, most photos are electronic, so that's the one that you email through the days in advance to make sure it gets through.
come to that and then think about that. Sure. Thanks, Shannon. So, as we said before, got to be zealous that nominator and seconder have to be on the roll in the area that you're standing. Standing for Great Town Community Board, nominator and seconder got to be on the roll in that community board. Standing for the Māori Board, nominator and seconder got to be on the roll in the Māori Board. But as a candidate, you don't have to. You can live in Wellington and be on the general roll, stand for the Māori Board. It's just the nominator and seconder have to be on that roll.
It was the challenge for one person who wanted to stand in the last training for Martinborough, that one of the people who was nominating them was not on Martinborough ward electoral roll. And by the time that got picked up, that midday deadline had passed, so there was no opportunity for that to be remedied.
Please do not leave lodging your nomination because of that issue. Can't stand for the regional council and the district council at the same time. In the district council of the regional council, you could stand in South Wairarapa and stand for Horizons Regional Council. Different region. Be careful if you've got a contract where your partner has a contract with the council for more than $25,000 a year. Got to get approval from the office of the Auditor General. Go to their websites, a lot of detail in there about that, a whole lot of criteria you've got to meet. Do that before become a candidate. And you can't change your mind after the close of nominations and withdraw. You can before close nomination. You just can't do it afterwards. As I said, stand for the Māori Ward, don't have to be on the Māori roll. I haven't seen the do. Any questions about that? Key slide. Make sure you get those details right. See, you can't change your mind. I get this happen every time. Nominations close on the Friday, on the Monday, I'll probably get a dozen calls from candidates around the country going, oh, I've seen who the other candidates are. I don't want to run anymore. Can I withdraw? No, you can't. It's too late. You can, if you're in that vote, do it. Don't vote for me campaign. A few times. But you can't withdraw. Unless it's on grounds of medical incapacity. Which we have had here before, actually. You'll know about that. A couple of times ago when a candidate had a stroke just before nominations closed. Up to the point after closed nominations withdrew on grounds of medical capacity. Yes. Which case, no dramas, just if someone's in that boat, just contact me and we'll work through the process.
When you put your application in, can the council tell you how many others or who's?
Yeah, great question. So when you put nominations in and they're confirmed, checked and confirmed, they get entered into our system via a portal. That then produces a web page that lists the confirmed candidates at the end of each day. So at the end of each day, you can look at a link on council's website and see who the candidates are up to that point, candidate's name, affiliation, contact, method. So yes, you can see that as it happens.
And just to confirm that, Nikki, has that happened in the past? Is that right?
Yep.
Yep. Just like why?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, 3 years ago. Remember though that, 50% of the nominations come in the last 2 days generally, so everyone leaves it till the end to see who else is standing and then puts it in. But if you put it in early, then your name will be up there. There you go. for some candidates to come in on the first day or and go to the show. All in the nomination period. Remember that nomination paper is a public document. Anyone can come and look at it. Details of the nominator and seconder in the public domain. But we don't publish candidates' physical addresses. Those candidate safety reasons we talked about before. So it has name, affiliation, mobile or email, not physical address. And if someone comes and looks at the nomination paper, candidate's physical address is not on the front side, so that is not made available. Okay. Profile statement, max 150 words, not 151. I checked this to the nth degree. I also unhyphen people that are hyphen words that shouldn't be hyphened.
Busy person, Mark.
But if someone does a couple of words over, then I'll probably do that. I am to I'm, I have to I've to try and sneak it in. And let the candidate know. One thing that's happening new this time is that, like the webpage of the nominations, once your nomination is confirmed and the profile and photo are loaded, you will get an email from us with the PDF of what the profile's going to look like. And candidates haven't had this before. It's the first time we're doing this. We're giving candidates the opportunity to see what it's going to look like in the profile book. You get to see that the moment your nomination is confirmed, and you'll have a chance to correct anything that's not right. It's not an opportunity to rewrite the profile. It's an opportunity to check the name spelled right, got the party affiliation correct, got the right photo with you, that, you know, all that stuff's correct. Not an opportunity to rewrite. But good chance you to check the details. Haven't had that before. Keen to see how that goes. Yeah, Louise.
You're on mute, Louise.
Just kind of back to what you were talking about with potentially having your own a different email for the election. If you actually are currently in a position, in an elected position now, I guess, can you use that email address, or do you have to use a non-related to the council address?
Yeah, so you can't use council email for your campaign purposes.
Cool. Okay, thank you.
Because it's a council resource, you got to use your personal email address. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
The 150 words is about you, what you're standing for, not about someone else, not about the council CE, not about the election officer, about what you're standing for. Be surprised when people put it in. And you can have it in English and in Te-Reo. So it's going to be substantially the same. And we check that. I have someone on my team who's fluent in today, and he tells me it's not the same. You can change it. Profiles will go up council's website once they've been signed off for print a couple of weeks after closing nominations. As I said, the candidate contact details will go up there straight away. Nominations confirmed. This time before closing nominations.
So if your nomination statement is not in Te Reo, do you get it twice if you put it in Te Reo? Do you get 300?
Yeah. English 150, today 150. Why it has to be substantially the same, as we know, today is generally more words.
Yep.
So it can't be a like for like exact translation. So substantially the same.
Well, just to be doubly clear, it used the word must. So at the point you nominate, you must also provide your 150 words.
Yeah, you can't put your nomination paper in on the first day and go, I'm going to send you my profile a week later.
Later on, yeah.
We won't, Mickey won't accept Won't do anything with the nomination until all the bits are there. Photos. Colour photos taken within the last 12 months. And yes, my photos taken in the last 12 months. Not. But we check that. I think you will look at the photo, look at you and go, same. If she thinks it's not taken in the last 12 months, then we'll have a chat. I might even get my IT man to talk to the metadata of the photo to see when it was taken. Apparently you can do on expert.
Beautiful AI shot.
Beautiful AI shot, yeah. Remember, this is just the photo for your profile. Your campaigning photos, you can do whatever you like in them. This is the one that's just got to be in the last 12 months. No pets, no sunglasses, no hats, no babies, no people, no trees, no parrots. Nothing else. Just a nice little head and shoulders shot. It is the clear background. Least you can smile. Don't have to do the passport photo drug dealer look. But electronic is our preference. 300 DPI. The higher res, the better. Please don't rip off your photo off your Facebook page. It's 72 DPI. When you print that, it'll come out looking like a fuzzy bear. I won't accept it. I'll say, give us no. Can be black and white, but everyone else is going to be in colour. So colour is the way to go. Remember, if you got those glasses that are, that change with the light, be careful about that. Let them get used to the light before you take a photo, even if you've been out in the sun. Questions about photos? Right, so that's what it looks like. So you're going to get an email with a PDF looking a bit like that in that format. Lowercase first name, cat, surname, then the affiliation, proven, dedicated, real, sounds like me. Then the two sentences that you need to have: my principal place of residence is within the area that I'm standing for, and I'm also standing for an election if you are. Then bang into the 150 words. Words, nothing fancy, no caps, no boldings, no speech marks, just straight simple text. Into space requirements. It'll be tricky if you gave, I can't do bullet points, but if you gave me one line sentences, a whole lot of them, it's tricky for us to get them onto one page. So we'll probably start to jump them back up. Be mindful of that when you're doing paragraphs. Sometimes it'll be blocked. You can't fit it in. Profile book, it's 2 candidates per side. There's not a lot of room sometimes. Some of the spaces there. This time around, council's doing candidate videos. First time. Another option for people to see, find out more about the candidates. Cheltenham City Council did this last year, sort of pioneered this deal. So not have to look, go to the Cheltenham City Council website now, see what their elected members look like in their videos. Done by the council, same environment, same lighting, same sound, same level playing field. 3 or 4 generic questions that you'll be given in advance to know what they are. And there'll be questions like, what skills do you bring to the council? You know, why are you standing? What are the 3 things to concentrate on in the next 3 years? What are some of the big issues facing council or something like that? 90 seconds, short and sharp, get a couple of goes at it, stuff it up and get to do it again. With captions of the questions and subtitles of the answers. So as I say, go and check them out and turn on the site. As soon as nominations close, Nikki will come back to you with details around that logistics.
Yep, we are looking at the week of the 4th of August for video recordings.
Can you just say that again?
Yeah, looking at the week of the 4th of August for the video recordings. We will get those details in.
Doing it for community board members as well, everyone?
Okay.
Believe so?
But you don't have to.
Don't have to, no. Tautoma's case, they had 76 candidates, 66 did their videos. Once they were put up, 6 of those that didn't rang up and said, that turned out better than I thought. Can I please do one? Sure, no problem.
So wait, community boards too?
They're quite a powerful tool. They had truckloads of hits, thousands of hits on them. People to see on the video, Becca. Yeah, thanks, Shannon. A little bit about campaigning, even though I'm trying to stay away from the campaigning space. A few that's, remember, as we talked about before, you can't use council resources for your campaigning. Can't rock up to council meeting wearing a vote for me t-shirt. Can't have some friends standing in the back of the gallery there holding up a vote for me sign, because council's live stream goes out to council's social media audience, not your social media audience. Council's social media audience is council's, other candidates. Can't take a photo standing in front of the council building with the council name behind it. Council resource. Can't park your sign. Can't park your sign written car in the council car park. Can't use council logo, branding, colours. Those things. Can't use the elections orange.
It's orange. You can't use an orange bin.
Use an orange bin. Can't. We'll talk about orange bins in a minute. Can't put campaigning poster in the same premise that an orange bin is.
Orange bin.
Orange bin. Remember, every piece of campaigning material, got to have that little authorization statement on it. Authorized by candidate's name with their agent, contact method, mobile, email, web address. Doesn't have to have the physical address. Used to, doesn't. I'll show you an example shortly. Remember, every piece, hats, t-shirts, posters, billboards, cars, flyers, bookmarks, all of that. For badges, you can do a badge. You've got to have the little writing on it saying authorized by. Every piece of campaign material, radio ads, sends to the end, authorized by.
In terms of the authorization, which you say must be on the front of the sign or the promotional material, not the back. If you've delivered that before the, whatever the 8 weeks, whatever it is that all right? Well, I've delivered mine and the authorization's on the back.
Back of what?
Pamphlet.
Okay.
Well, it says there the promotional material, that's a pamphlet.
Yeah. On there, I'm talking about signs. So like a billboard.
Actually, the billboards I understand, but promotional material is a pamphlet.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's fine.
As long as it's on there somewhere.
That's what I assume, but yeah.
As long as it's on there somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm saying on your webpage, as long as it's bottom.
Yep.
About section somewhere. But yeah, it doesn't say how big or small it has to be. Can be pretty small. Can be a sticky label, on the corner. Can be all down the side. That's what it is. Doesn't have to have physical address. Remember, with your campaigning, be factual about things, because if you're not, someone can complain to the Advertising Standards Authority. They will get you to replace the material if it's telling complete factual bookies. Seen it happen. And the usual rules of defamation do apply if someone defames you and you want to do something about it. Social media, interesting space. As we all know, remember, as I said before, council social media audience is council social media audience. Monitored, checked any campaigning or electioneering comments on there. Zapped. Quite a few of my councils these days are now turning off comments on their social media channels after July. Sure what you guys do. But
in that direction.
Can you just say that, just speak a bit louder?
Yes, I think we're heading in that direction. We are looking to kind of
disable
to
comments.
disable comments
On council media.
from the pre-election.
Yeah.
Yeah, period, which starts for us on the 11th of July, the pre-election period. Yeah.
Council will unlink, unfriend, defriend, whatever it is, candidates during the campaign period. 11 July, 11 October. The campaigning can start anytime, can happen now. That election period is the period for which you have to record election expenses. Next one, please, Shannon. Social media posts. Yes, you can take council social media posts and send them out to your audience with the campaign message, if you like. Just can't do anything that then goes back to council's social media channel. Can't rate, review, like, share, tag, anything in, because the moment you do that, it appears on council's feed, council's social media audience, not your audience. That's when that would be zapped. If someone continued to do that, then we would block them. But yes, take it, push it out. Remember, posts, emails don't need an authorization statement on it, provided it's on the base platform. It is against legislation to take a photo of your completed voting paper, post that on the internet. Against legislation, pass straight to the police if you do that. Can take a snippet of your name, your circle and a ticket, post that. Just can't show anyone else without a tick. That looks like a voting paper against legislation. Show you what that looks like. See. Signs. Most favourite topic. Council has its hoardings policy. Please make sure you abide by the hoardings policy that's set out on page 28. 16th of August, signs can go up. Few issues around size and placement on council land. Only for 8 weeks. I do work with 47 councils. I've got 47 different hoardings policies. They're all different. Some are 3 months, some are 2 months, some are 6 weeks, some are 8 weeks, some are 9 weeks. Some haven't come down the day before, some haven't gone down the day after, some are week. All over the shop. It's not a legal requirement. Council elections, signs to be down the day before elections. It's parliamentary, not for council, but council's hoardings policy takes precedence and some do require them. Which I think yours does. Right. It's on the timetable, I can't remember what it says.
Stay up.
Might be the day after?
Yeah.
Okay. Day after,
Day
okay,
after.
great. Remember, the cost of the wood that's holding up the sign is not an election expense. Or other screws attaching to it. The sign is.
Itself, not the timber.
Not the timber. Change the true, not the timber.
Ridiculous. What does one sign per candidate site mean? What's a candidate site? Don't understand that.
That's more a throwback. Actually, that's probably shouldn't be, and there's more throwback from councils that do have candidates.
I figured that was when they used to have, you'd hear a whole bunch of. That doesn't happen anymore.
Quite a few councils do.
Do they?
Like Tauranga City Council has many sites around the city
Okay,
that they go out and mark with spray paint.
okay.
People put their signs in one.
One per candidate, yeah,
site.
okay.
That means- That's probably the line, guys. Oh, why not take that in? Proofing's not very good, is it? Anyway. Good point. All right, thanks, Shannon. Donations, yeah, so remember, you have to record your expense and donations for the election period. With donations, there's no time limit as to when you receive a donation. Someone gives you money for your campaign, even if it was last year, you have to record that. Expenses, yes, 3 months, donations, not. Even if someone gives you some money and says, here, look, I'll give you $100 for your campaign, but I want you to keep it anonymous, you can't. You know who it is, or you could reasonably work it out in your bank account with a name. You have to record those details on candidate expense donations return. If you do get a donation that's anonymous, now you could, but if you do, then max 1,500 over that limit that you could have given to the council. That's, anyone doesn't. Every donation, remember crowdfunding, GoFundMe does not beat the donation. The recording of the donate doesn't meet the requirements of the Act, so please don't use those guys. Because they're anonymous. Yeah. Action. Here's the maximum you can spend on your campaign, including GST. Same figures since 2001, haven't changed. Based on the population of the area. Under the legislation. Max, if you're standing for 2 positions, it's the higher position, not added together.
And that's in the 3-month period, right?
Standing for the mayor and the ward, then it's 14,000.
That's within the 3-month period.
3 months period, yeah. Good question. Next slide. Yeah, so period 11 July, 7 October. It's not when you pay for it, it's when does the activity occur?
What activity?
Campaign activity. What I mean by campaign activity is something that is a call to action. Vote for me. So for example, you can put full page ad in the Warwick Times Age on the 10th of July, outside the 3-month period, not included in your campaign expenditure. Cost, next day is another paper, previous day's paper, history. If you put it in a magazine, a local magazine that was out for a month, starting the 10th of July, then yes, that is 3-month period, so you would have to record the cost for that. It's when the campaign activity is used. You can sign right your car now, for example, drive around for 4 months. You are 3 months, the 4 months, 75%, 75% of the cost would be what you would put in your expense return of the cost of the sign running.
So if you do that a year before the election, you prorate it over the whole year. From the day of when you put it up or get it out or whatever till the day of the election, it's prorate. That much.
Yeah, so if you've been driving your car for a year.
Yep.
And it costs you $1,000 to sign write it.
Yep.
And 3 months, 12 months is
Yep.
5%.
Yep.
25% would be the amount that you would put in it.
What about leaflets?
It depends when you've put them out. You've distributed them now, outside the 3 months. Not part of the campaign. expensive.
not part of the campaign, full stop, or prorated?
Depends if you have any left.
How long do we keep them? Yeah.
If it's in shades of grey.
This is actually a real question.
So the leaflets are out there now?
Yep.
It depends on what you would determine would be the period of that item of activity. And if they've been out there for some time, then you could argue that that's well before and it doesn't go into the 3 months period. And you can, that would probably work.
I think you just have half it or something.
But if you put it out, 2 days before. Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, I would probably prorate that. Because it's going to be out there during the 3 months.
Yeah.
But not all the time you've had it out there. These things get a bit shades of grey sometimes. But good question. And if you'd ask those questions now rather than later. Remember the York-Can expense return. It's your expense return. I'm not interested in it. My job is only to receive it. Go, thanks, it's great. Nikki, can you put this on the council website, please? It'll be there on council's website for 7 years. Anyone can look at it. If someone complains that you've not put stuff in it, I'll ask you about it, and if still adamant that you haven't, then I'll send it to the police.
You don't put the 200 entry.
No, $200 deposit is not part of your campaign expenses.
Yep.
Nor is the cost of your photo candidate profile book. But everything else is, except for the wood that holds your sign up. But yeah. Any other questions about that? Good to get those things sorted now. Few things about fences. We're looking just about now. I won't be far away. Treating bribery. You can make your friends at the cafe and shout my coffee. Okay, you just can't say, here's this coffee if you vote for me. It's treating. You can have a campaign meeting, campaign launch, and a ball like this where people come in and hear how wonderful you are and provide tea and bickies afterwards. Can't provide alcohol. It's treating. Bribery, you can't give away an item of value that can be used for another purpose. Then, which means undue influence. Undue influence is if someone was standing over you while you had the pen in your hot little hand and about to mark the voting paper, and someone says, "Don't tick that box, tick this box." That's undue influence in the act of voting. That's what that is. Yeah, any questions about that? Thanks, Shannon. Here's an example of a good sign. Untick, candidate's name. Put the authorization there. Old authorization doesn't need physical address anymore. Remember, just mobile or email. You can't do that where it shows other candidates. Because that's not a voting paper. It's been done a few times. Off the police, prosecuted. Please don't go there. Here we go. Here, Michael, anyone know what that is?
The horror funeral.
Correct. I found in 2019, I think it was. Michael was the mayor, had a council car park underneath the building. Had his car sign written, parked it right outside the front door of the council, which is just there. Everybody walks in, and sees his car. Oh, Michael, you can't park it there, please move it. Made him move it.
Is the again all right? To me, that's advertising you've already been there. Previous history, it doesn't matter.
Okay. In this case, he was the mayor,
Yeah, yeah.
so he's saying, vote for me again. Pick me again.
Yeah.
Anyone can do that as incumbent. They can say, I'm councillor,
Okay,
they elect me.
it's not a clean slate.
No.
Not again, no.
One of orange bin. Lots of these this time around. Nikki, how many you got?
3.
Three.
3.
Three.
3. 3. 1 for each library.
Sure, we don't want some more? Three, okay.
3. Yeah.
One of my hands.
Only 3.
Keen for people to put them in the orange bins as opposed to the postal system because we'll get them much quicker. Easy to find. Quite a few places are putting them in supermarkets and other places. There's a lot of these around the country.
Not encouraging of democracy, is it?
We might talk about that.
Do you have a flag or anything outside libraries?
Elections flag.
How do people know?
Yeah.
Go.
So it will be around, it's come out on the rates newsletter. We've done some promotion. Yeah, in regards to that you can vote where you pay your rates. That's already gone out as well. And there'll be some more marketing as comms plan around encouraging people to enrol, to stand and then to vote. And that's the position that the council's taking.
So minimalist, basically.
We're following we get the information through from Elections NZ, so we're following the pretty standard practice. Bearing in mind that South Wairakei District Council is neutral, so what we are promoting are the 3 parts to it, making sure that everyone's enrolled in time, so that they've checked the enrolment forms, they've got those back, encouraging people to stand, and then the third part of that is the voting.
Yeah, I was just talking about the voting ability to just know where the voting place is.
Yeah, so there'll be some, that's the third part of the communications plans that will come out, and the communications plan closer to voting. Well advertised.
It will be not just in the rates notice.
No, in
Some people are renters and they don't get a rates notice.
It's in the voting guide booklet that goes out with the profiles. Listed locations are in there.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Council's comps.
You don't put a flag outside the building though, saying vote here.
No, we don't have a flag.
No, you can get those stand up things.
Yeah, we've got South Wairakei District Council flags, but we don't have a one that says vote here, I believe.
I need to think about that.
That's concerning. As I said early on, Election Commission provides the electoral roll, prelim and final. Prelim came out yesterday. Working on that at the moment. Final rolls will usually send the voting papers out come 9 September. So if your address, if you've moved, you haven't changed your address, you've got till the 1st of August to do that. If you don't change your address for the 1st of August, then voting papers will go to your old address. We won't get them. If that's the case, then you have to come in and do a special vote. Slide.
Just on that, what sort of level of information is provided? Is it an actual address?
On the electoral roll, I mean,
That
it's
Occupation address.
It's a postal address, including a PO box number, if that's their postal address.
So you used to be able to get by street as well. They're not doing them anymore. I understand the Electoral Commission say that's not happening anymore. Is that correct? You know, you could get either by alphabetical for the whole electorate, or you could get by street.
right.
Was on the previous.
You're right. Yeah, it's on the previous slide. So we can provide a hard copy of the
By
preliminary.
street, not by alphabet.
It's by alphabet, but postal address, by alphabet by name,
Yeah,
with postal address.
yeah, I understand that, but you can't get it by street. Like, that's how they used to do it. Basically, you can get it cut in two ways, alphabetically or by street. And they don't do the street anymore, no. And who provides that hard copy roll? The you or the council or the electoral?
We provide the council.
The council does. So if you want to buy a copy, where do you go?
Council.
Council.
Maybe sign.
Yeah, I know, but I just want to work out where you actually physically get it from.
You
Council, yeah.
can purchase a hard copy.
Yeah. $100.
The electronic.
Yeah.
Do a special vote. If you haven't got your voting paper, or you've lost it, the dog's eaten it, can come to council office.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Ken?
Yeah.
Do a special vote. During the voting period, not before. Can't do early voting if you're going overseas. For those on the unpublished roll as well. In the results, we'll hit the button on the day, produce the progress result that afternoon. That won't include votes popped into the orange voting bins on this Friday evening, Saturday morning. Get those later on Saturday and produce the prelim result on the Sunday afternoon. The final result later in the week. Probably the Thursday, possibly the Wednesday, depending on how many special votes there are. That stuff. Remember, results are close. Sometimes things change. I will, close is close. Seeing many things change. And following that, the council has their inaugural meeting, followed by the induction process. So basically, straight after the election, those that are elected, it's a pretty busy time. You got to hit the ground running after the inaugural meeting, which is formal ceremony. Friends and whānau, big deal. Quite an important occasion. And it's straight into the induction process. Okay. Just about finished. Yeah, all the documents that you can get to read about the council's pre-election report over next week. You can have to can the handbook, you've got that in front of you. And please take time to read all those details. Check out all those other options. Then last slide, please, Shannon. No online voting. Fortunately, councils are the only elections we do that are not online. Saying that for 20 years, one day. But colleagues in Wellington have to be comfortable and they're not yet. But to say, we do it everywhere else. Lots of voting bins. Nominations in early. Please do not leave to the last minute. Stick to your own campaign and keep yourself safe. And good luck. That's pretty much it for me about all the things that I want to talk about. Kington, you can have a chat or about anything else, any other questions that you'd like to know?
Will there be a supply of these at the council?
Yeah, they're already in the libraries. Yeah, so there will be information available for libraries.
Yeah, Councillor Gibson?
Yeah, and on council's website as well, along with the nomination form. The enrollment.
The nomination form only from the library or download from.
Either or, it's definitely online at the moment, yep.
Or how the scrutiny is appointed.
Yeah, so candidate can appoint a scrutineer. There's a form in there, but we'll give you a separate form. These days, though, the days of scrutineers have pretty much gone burgers. It's got to be someone who can attend our precinct centre in Christchurch. points and members and coaches.
Mm.
But the reality is, what they're going to see. Remember, most of the vote processing occurs before the day on election day. Soon after you hit the button to produce the result. Someone can come in and watch after midday on a Saturday, votes being processed. But it's all electronic. There's not a lot to see. We did have some points for this, but really.
Another question possibly for Aidan and Nikki, but the Martinborough Ward, just to be absolutely clear, I take it coming in from Martinborough, across the Ruamahanga, it's 54 and everything south through to Hiranikau. Sorry, to the, that river.
Taranaki River.
Everything south, and then this side of the Ruamahanga, it's everything north to the Carterton
Boundary.
boundary. Is that correct? Yep.
The roads are the ones there.
Yeah. So Martinborough includes, Kahutara, Puranoa, Lake Ferry.
Lake Ferry, Malmani, yeah.
As lovely as these maps are, I would also recommend going online to Stats. And they have a great interactive map of where you can put on the ward boundary lines and you can zoom in and out so you can see the streets and rivers.
Thanks for that, Nikki. Yeah. I've been trying to find one for ages.
I will put it on the website as well for council in the next couple of days. The Stats NZ also have their 2023 census information for the district as well, which is quite helpful, and that's broken down in the wards as well. So there's a bit of information in there too.
And Warren, just a sense from you, so 2,900 plus enrolled, what sort of does local government do in terms of promoting to get people on the roll from now on? Like I heard on the news tonight, quite a significant push to get people onto the Māori roll.
The Electoral Commission are doing it and finished in the enrolment campaign to get people.
It's finished.
It's finished. Councils are doing the same thing as well. But there's not a national campaign.
Are candidates allowed to encourage people to go into the role as part of their campaign? There's no issues with that.
Just a question there, like in South Wairarapa, a lot of people are ratepayers but non-resident. What's the council going to be doing in terms of encouraging them?
Ratepayers, the non-resident. So there's a non-resident national campaign on at the moment. And as Nikki said, there was a notice in the rates to all ratepayers saying if you are non-resident, can go on the non-resident ratepayer roll. It's a process to do that. But it's pretty easy to do online. Go to council's website if you want me to go to do that. On our homepage, elections.com homepage. It's just a case of filling the form and then we process that. And numbers that do that are not high. There's an option. Those who live outside the district and own property within.
Just to clarify around signage, it mentions obviously from the 16th of August onwards, but is that for maybe public spaces and land on sides of roads, or is it if it was on someone's, on someone's fence, is it from the 16th of August, so it can only be out for 8 weeks during any period of, from the 11th, just 16th?
Just from the 16th. Okay.
If there's people running for, if they're working for council but maybe on short contracts, can I just clarify? I feel like there was a slide there and I just missed part of it. And they wanted to run, but their contract finishes before elections. Was there a comment about going to the Auditor General about that? Was that, can I clarify that?
The thing about the Auditor General is if the candidate or their partner has a contract with council more than $25,000 a year.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna get that checked by the audit office.
Mm.
In fact, the easiest place to go, just go to their website, there's a truckload of details on there about it. There's some criteria to meet, and it's pretty straightforward. If the contract's finished before the election, that will be fine.
Yeah.
If you want to check it out anyway. If that contract's finished, then there's no issues. Okay. Anyone have it? Thanks. Is there enough things on the live thing?
Louise, feel good? Anything else from you?
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, very much.
Question.
Right.
Just, any